And I've been waiting for the noise to die down, so I could have some time to think.
So, quickly introduce yourself, and I'll go bring the other page in.
Actually, it's spelled right on there anyway. No, I'm Greg Harms. I'm publisher with the Third Empire, which was founded by Roman Morales and I back in 2006-7. Roman passed away in 2018, and then I've taken over as publisher on that, and artist, writer, inker, colorist, whatever needs to be done, except for letters. I don't do letters. Just grandpa pops. I mean, to two girls that are my daughters. So married to Christy, and she's a children's book writer. And she's working on her fourth book, and then we have the fifth book in production as well. So, and then for Third Empire, I work with several different studios to produce comics, and I'm actually working on trying to get the Kickstarters wrapped up that we fulfilled on those for the Creative Nights and for the Mojo Rising. So yeah, I think that's it.
So do you can you send me your link for your website so I can put it up?
We don't have a website. We just have Facebook. Yeah, which is
right.
Which is Third Empire 2020 on Facebook.
All right. There we go. All right, so this is the page, the link for if you want to check out Greg's work and his team's work. It's there. It's Third Empire on Facebook, and it's spelled this way. That's what I was trying to go the other way. It's like 3RD, and didn't work. And so there you go, guys. Check that out. Now, I was gonna talk about this one. Here you go. So Greg actually is going to be inking this book. And so this is what I mean by like how it's all joined in, and they're all cover A's, you know, so it's not a variant, it's not, you know, it's a regular cover A. And I thought, like, because everybody else kind of goes like, oh, you got to buy, you know, you got to get a variant and then you'll get the interlocking ones. But I thought, like, with each one of these, we get to introduce each different character, you know, the main, it's kind of like the main character across the whole 6 books.
Right.
And
I love that idea, by the way.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to do something special for each book, and I thought, like, and this, we planned this about 3 years ago, right? That we do this 3 years ago. And if I look at the date on the when it came through, it's 22. Yeah, 7th of July, I think. Yeah, 7th of July 22 is there that we did that. And but this is how, you know, uncolored it will look. But you know, let me bring up the other page, cover with the text on it. And so this is you know, black and white, but with a color. This is what the setting will be for the other art that I showed. And this was just a promotion, so all this other stuff will be gone. But yeah, I will get that get this all out to you today. I just had to sort out, had a couple of meetings I had to sort out.
Okay.
And
I'm actually responding to that email I should have responded to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I hadn't checked emails in a month, so I had to wade through a lot of emails. So
yeah,
I got into all that right now. So I look forward to putting some inks on all this. It's excellent pencil work, and I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, this he's done a few covers for us. Like, he's did it for Incredi-Girl. He's, you know, done it for his own ones, and he's done it for, like, because I like his art. I like the way it flows. And so he's done a couple of others. Like, I'll show you this other one he's done, which is for a manga, but we did a wraparound, like, in his style as a special thing. but not only wraparound, but other, like bikinis and all that, not safe for work, because you get to have fun for for variants, as long as the characters are represented, and it's part of the storyline somehow. I think you can do a lot. So it's a tortoise from the Strange Love series. So not that one. Oh, there we go. Missed it again. Yeah, so this is me doing the flats on this, just to and I think I might actually release it because it's manga. I'll just release it with like a wraparound with the flats, because it's just like that. So this is for the manga series we're doing. It's not a series. It's actually a complete, like, an actual book,
Right.
and we're going to look at it as a manga graphic novel and a manga size I've actually
The
lettered
5.5
from
by
left to right. Yeah, everything the way a manga should be.
Go from
And
right to
it's
left
also
instead of
going to
right
be a
to left.
sizable manga as well.
Right.
Sorry, Greg?
It goes from right to left or left to right?
Right to left.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll look exactly like. Actually, let me grab this one from here. Where is it? Steins Gate. So the cover will be on the back, right? So that's the back cover, right? And then there'll be the front cover. So the back cover with front. So let me remove that. Yeah. So that's the front cover, and then you have the spine, and then you got the front,
Right.
back cover, which will have the art. And so I've done it that way. And then to make it even harder on myself, right? We're also going to have the color, of the characters on the back. So and the contents, and then it reads from here down like that, right? Sorry. So
Right.
yeah. So I'm not sure how familiar our viewers or you are with manga, but you got to
The
go
S-shape
that
versus the backwards S.
way. Yeah. So I'm so used to reading manga now, even though I've read comics for probably about 35 years, and then the last couple of years I've been reading manga, but I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I just pick it up and I'm away. But then, like, if I'm reading a comic now, I have to go, oh, it's the other side. It's got to go this way. But the cool thing with this is that we're actually going to release it this big, not full size. So that's another different thing for this one that we're doing. So it won't be the size of a comic book. It'll be the size of a manga, and published as a manga and written backwards. And with the special page, so it's actually lets people know what the character's skin color is, what they look like and stuff, because that's one of the things that's really important when it comes to manga, because it's never it's always black and white. And so if by having that, it allows people to know what's going on. And that's something that they that's why they can put black and white comics out forever and nobody's a problem with it. But the other thing is, they do families and relationships really well, and which is what I find is missing from modern comics. And that's what I try really hard to bring it in. It's like bring in with my stories is to bring in some sort of relationships that actually brings the family unit into it. Even if it's like, oh, mom and dad's doing this, or mom left when that happened, and or dad left them, but something about that. And I think a lot of times with Marvel and DC don't do that. They don't talk about the family. It's just the heroes are fighting and let's go bang, hit somebody else, and the criminals are running. And I think that's what draws everybody to this. And
I think
kind of
Marvel used to do that. Marvel used to,
right.
And even like the school, they were a very oddball family.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that's really stressed in today's comics. Back when I started reading,
right.
70s, 80s, 90s. Of course, the 90s was a revolution, Image with all that. But those early on comics really did. I mean, they even if you weren't family, like for the X-Men, they were family.
Yeah.
So, and you know, some of the most important things I think are family and, you know, love.
Yeah.
That some of the strongest emotions, you know, hate, love, family bonds, betrayal, you know, so you, and if you play on those certain things, you're everybody, because everybody's familiar with those. Everybody's had to address them. So it's familiar to people, to readers, to the people that are picking up your book and that type of stuff. So it's, I think it's important, you know, it's good that I think that you pull that into your books.
I think it's like, it's a, I mean, it's all, I mean, family's always been important to me. Like, we haven't always had a great relationships, but it's always been important. And I think it doesn't have to be a perfect family. I think everybody thinks that every family's got to be perfect before you write about families or something like that. But like, even from like, if it's not perfect, you still draw from this, you know, ideas from it. But one thing I found really interesting is like, there is this what we're doing, right, which is like a new series called that's being worked on now. It probably won't be out for another 4 months, but it's just started. And with Zoolander is that we're going to put a fish out of water, water story into that whole thing, but not only one fish, right? Lots of fishes from all different time periods of human history, and it's going to allow. But the thing is, there, like, when you're a stranger in a strange land, how does that work? You know, and a lot of people haven't experienced that, and so like I kind of like think of like what would that be like if you're actually not just in another country here in the world? What if you're in another time in another freaking, you know, where there's freaking people with swords and stuff, you know? Right. And you know, and some of them have magic, and some of them like you know, they're not actually human. You know, you got freaking dragons flying, and you, as a human being, how you're surviving. And when I was like watching stuff like ReZero, which I think it was like something of the Sword Hero, Return of Sword Hero, or something like Revenge of Sword Hero, stuff like that, where like they take a human and they put him in those worlds, and you know, and then they go, well, then you realize the guy starts seeking out, or the girl starts seeking out family, friends, relationship, and you know, and they go, because they're not left on their own. So if you like suddenly take
well, we all want those connections.
Yeah. So if you take like and they used to do that with Superman before, but if you take Green Lantern now, he's over on the planet, he does his thing and comes back home. There's no sort of, that's the last time I read a comic book, was like, there's no like, hey, come to dinner or come hang out, or let's go do something, let's go fly somewhere. And then like, it doesn't have to be more than a page. It'd be like, hey, let's have a bit of chat. Now it's like, let's have lots of chats, right? Or don't have no chats at all, you know? And so there's no sort of connection. And I found that like, yeah, I think me and Rex last Friday night, we fished it out for 3 hours, why there was a difference, why people stopped reading comics in this generation, this new generation, and what made them go to this, a black and white thing, right? That, you know, that a generation back nobody cared for, because they're all about color. You got to have Tintin, you got to have asterisks, you know, you got to have like, you know, cartoons and everything. But now it's like billions of people, you know, are reading this, and it's like, well, the only answer is friendships and relationships and family. That's what I got from it.
Yeah. See, I hadn't picked up a manga or any of that. I've never read one, so
right.
You know, I'm old school Marvel, DC. Actually, Marvel is basically. But I know when I picked up those, you know, of course, as a young man.
Yeah.
You know, it was the Hulk or Spider-Man battling it out, or Doctor Strange doing his thing, or the Swamp Thing, you know, doing his thing. Or, you know, if you got into like the Fantastic Four, it was that family bond.
Yeah.
Because they went through a shared experience.
Right.
But they're still the superheroes, you know, so they still had, you know, you still had the family part of it,
Yeah.
But then you also had the superhero stuff of it, you know, and then Conan, which being kind of a loner, Conan was one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
ones. You know, Conan's.
Yeah.
So you know, the manga stuff really, I hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I need to pick some up and take a look at them because
Well,
they are so popular.
I mean, like, it depends on what interests you. Like, so, like, anything that, and I'm not trying to push manga because, you know, I'm a comics guy, right?
Yeah.
But and so I'm always going to promote comics. But everything that, like, you know how like DC and Marvel just do superheroes, right? So if you let's go back 50 years to like 1950s before they got that certification, whatever the code they got in, right?
Comics code.
Right. So when they got that in, they stopped doing everything else but superheroes because it was safe. So, but however, with these guys, they do everything else.
Right.
So here's the everything else. A bunch of schoolgirls have a club where they go fishing. They learn from, you know, like there's a, you know, the club president, she's about 17 and she's got like a 13-year-old and there's like a 7-year-old and there's a 14-year-old, and each kind of like week after school they go to the club once a week, and then they learn how to do bait. Then they go find a different place they're going to fish for a different thing. That's one story.
That's
right?
a Friday night in Texas.
Right. And then the next one is that I enjoyed was a girl who's trying, I think it was a girl, who's been biking to school for a mile every day. Right. So she sees that someone's got a scooter. Now she goes and saves up a thing, and it's about her and her scooter. Right. Where now she can get everywhere. There's a
lot of people that can relate to that. You know, there's a lot of people that can relate to that. You know, saving up for your first bike or saving up for your first vehicle. And then when you get those vehicles, you have mobility, you have autonomy, that you can move, you can get around, you can kind of tie your identity into the vehicle that you have. You know, so I mean, all these stories kind of sound like people can relate to them on a personal level.
That's why people, you know, they produce millions of them and people buy them. And now how I found about those was like it's an anime, it's a cartoon. So I found it by the cartoon. So they got enough people liking the manga, you know, version of it, that they decided to make it into, you know, put enough money into it for a anime, you know, a cartoon series. So they turned all the 12 volumes of this, right, into 12 volumes, you know, 12 episodes of a series. And what it comes down to is that because they know that people have different interests. They don't all like superheroes, or they don't all like vampires, or they don't all like zombies or aliens. So they figured out that whatever stories that someone likes, because they put it on, you know, a couple pages in the first story, and if it works, then they go, oh, okay, you go do another chapter. Oh, now you got a volume. Okay, let's put this together and we'll put this out. And that is something that's missing from, you know, Western comics. However, you know, if you look over to Europe comics, they just put out what is called albums. You know, they put out like about 40 pages into like a hardcover. What is trade paperback for us, right?
Yeah.
And I've got a whole bunch of those over there. You know, it's kind of, I think, hopefully, you know, because of all of us basically working together in the indie scene, that there'll be enough of us out here creating different genres that will then bring people back to comics again. So in the next 10 years, I'd say not 5, but 10 years, because it takes about 5 years to people to see that there's something out there of interest. So
I think it took 10 years for The Walking Dead to gain traction.
Yeah.
So that's 10 years.
Yeah. So
and that's doing it every month.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking like if because of digital, right? Because at that time there wasn't that.
Spread a little bit quicker. Yeah.
So with the digital, you can really push it out there. You can sell, you know, you can put out like free chapters out, and then get people interested and shove it everywhere, right? And that'll shorten that 10-year to 5 years, because now you can tell your mate and go, share this, man, share this. And now you got podcasts and all that. And we can talk about it. So you can shorten that by 5 years. But that way with all of us, and that's why I'm trying, you know, that's why I'm, you know, talking to everybody, because I think that with everybody talking to everybody, you can see like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this. Okay, you're doing that. Cool. You know, and you're doing something different. That's great. Now then we can promote your work, you know, because nobody's going to like go, oh, the same thing, same thing. But if you have something different style, you have a different story, different creators, you know, different ways of telling a story, there's a market for every single thing. And I think
Well,
that
I mean,
way
you can all find your fan base. Some fan bases are going to be larger than others, but you know, we can all find the fan base that will support and appreciate the work that we put out. So it's just finding where they're at and getting to them.
That kind of reminds me of this, right? Do you remember seeing this on Netflix? Do you have Netflix?
I do. What is that?
Heavy metal singing little cat thing.
I have not seen that.
Death metal. I'll show you something, right? And I'll answer your actually, while I do that, I'll answer your question there. I never thought about that, Ross. I didn't think about that, but translating it to Japanese. But I mean, who knows? You know, we do have like Japanese division. That's kind of been like nothing's happened with it for ages. But maybe if we, you know, if we reach out to Japan and say, hey, look, we need a translator, or even somebody in New Zealand who can translate, right? Who's Japanese, and or doesn't have to be Japanese as long as they can speak, you know, English as or translate English into Japanese would be cool, because that's another whole thing in its own world, right? Now you got a you know, New Zealand made American artist manga that's been translated into Japanese. So like now you're exporting over to there while they're exporting over to here. So that's a whole new ball game. And I don't think I would ever say no to that, because I think there's always, you know, you just take whatever opportunities and tasks you can. So I'm going to bring up this Argetsu. Is it Agro-suku? Agro-suku. AGG, not AGRE. R's. Tsuki, Tsuko. So this is this little cat thing. It's only 46 seconds, but I because I'm a metalhead, so you know, I'll show you why I actually bought the toy, right? But because I thought it was cool. I think I've seen all 5 seasons. I think I might have. No volume. Let's try this one. Yeah. Right. So I didn't link the video. Give me one sec. So you can see like you're moving and everything. And this is the thing, right? So there's like this is not the first one with death metal or metal or anything like that. But let's see, here we go. So the cute little cat, right?
The cat's got some anger issues.
Yeah, so she's an anthropomorphic cat, and so that she works late hours, right, at work. So and the reason it works is because she's a salary worker, which is like a 9 to 9 kind of thing. And so, you know, she's got that whole stress and all that, and then she goes and does karaoke and screams, and then that's her journey into whether she, you know, and it's like everybody's there, and so they did this little, I think this crossover with chainsaw thing because of chainsaw method. And so I had to get this, and this is part of the game because they actually made a Funko game verse, so they actually put her in there, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. It was on special, so I was like, yeah, I'll have that.
There you go.
And, yeah, so you got the stand, and you got the little crystals for the game, and little point cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
tokens.
Eventually, I'd like to have a toy line for some of the different projects that we have.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at and really looking at like Fortnite, some of those figures, but they're the accessories that come with them. It just fascinates me, all the different things that they may come with. Like that one has the crystals and the stand and the different stuff, and even some of the Star Wars figures. They come with a jetpack or a rifle or a hand pistol, or the G.I. Joe. They might have the sword or gun, a scuba backpack, the flippers. In how they package all that together.
Right.
And I kind of look at it with my figures. I think, okay, this one could have this Marine could have this alien, or this children's book could have this plushie, or and so that it's kind of fascinating. And I've really just kind of started that trek of paying more attention to that. Of course, as a kid, we looked at had all the G.I. Joes and the Star Wars and stuff, but I looked at it a little bit closer now.
The thing that is because when you're actually creating something, you want to take it more than just a paper, right? And that one thing. So when we started that, we started with the Incredi-Girl toy. We did paid I think it was $150 to get that design, and a friend of mine actually donated $50 towards it. And so we got this a friend of a friend to design the I said this is what I wanted, and so I sent a whole bunch of reference images and the chibi design that I'd done. I said and so they turned it into he turned it into a 3D design, and then another person printed it out. And so we looked into seeing how much it will cost. It's going to cost $5,000 just to set up the whole thing. But if you did this, this is why I think Todd McFarlane, when he did the whole page punches and all that stuff, he thinks I can't say that. I think like he does, right? Because I think you got to have more to offer, and I think, but you can't if you don't have the money, you can't. So you got to spend 10 years to build up your portfolio of work to be able to do that. But so I'm going to bring over your Facebook page, and let's talk about that since I've got you here.
Okay.
So now this video is this part of your work here?
It's one I think it's one I've done. I think that's the promo one.
Okay, let's work.
Yeah, that's the first promo one.
Right, so let's pop out of there. Third Empire. Now, all right, here we go. This was going to put some artwork up.
Yeah, and that's actually a print that we've made because we're behind on fulfilling the Kickstarters. I'm doing extra stuff for the backers that have been waiting patiently. And that's the Mojo Rising Kickstarter and our Creative Knot Kickstarter. So there's 4 different properties on there. You have
Right.
Mojo, you have Kane Chronicles, you have Pero, and then you have Kayla and or you have Cyborg and Kayla. And then you have the Juju Voodoo dolls on there.
Yeah.
And that's actually a print that we did, and it's actually colored on my personal page.
Right. So I mean, the one thing I've always noticed is the amount of detail your work has, man. It's like crazy details.
Well, I grew up with Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane and Bernie Wrightson and some of those guys as my heroes or mentors or not mentors, but heroes in the industry.
Yeah.
So I kind of,
Unofficial mentors. I have many of them.
Unofficial mentors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I just tend to do detailed stuff in my work.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get away from a little bit of it, but it hadn't happened. And those are the 4 connecting covers that you're showing. That's Pero right there. Yeah. These are all ash can editions. So you have Juju, Pero, Cyborg and Kayla, and Kane Chronicles. But they're all interconnecting covers.
So that's the one that connects to this one, right?
Yeah. It is.
There you go. Wow.
And then that's Cyborg and Kayla.
And details, dude. Like, it's just crazy details. Let me just go in more. There we go. Like, so you guys can see that. It's like so much details. How long does it take you to do a page? I mean, pencil, not inking, but pencil.
Just a sequential page or like a pinup or cover?
Just a cover, like, because the cover's going to take you most time. So yeah, how long?
Anywhere from 8 to 24 hours.
All right, that's a whole day's work.
Yeah, or
2 days.
Yeah,
2-3 days worth work,
yeah.
Right? 24 hours.
And I've actually, since COVID in 21, I actually have slowed down some, but
yeah,
I'm starting to get my speed back up, but
right.
I had the long COVID, so it kind of affected me a little bit in there, but I'm starting to pick up speed again and getting a lot of stuff done now. So
this is the same one, like you said from the other one?
It's one of the
Cyborg and
covers. And that's Kane and the Kane Chronicles.
Right. This one here.
Standing up there. But yeah, those are the interconnecting covers.
Right.
And I'm actually working on the reveals of the colors right now.
Right.
And they'll be on my personal page. But one that Kane Chronicle cover has been revealed so far.
Right.
And then I'm about to post the other one, but I'm doing some graphic design work. And that's actually a close-up of the pus heads.
Right.
And they're in the payroll comic. And those are the Zompires, which are in the Kane Chronicles. And that's a close-up of them. They're zombie vampires.
Awesome. I'll get that. Crazy. All right. Let's so the colors are on your page, did you say?
They are.
Wow. Or just stay here for a bit.
Well, that's actually a backup story in the Mojo Rising comic, and that's the introduction of the Red Monks. And I'm doing backstories in each of those books, which range from anywhere from 3 to 6 pages.
Yeah.
But it's introducing different characters, and there's 12 characters that we're introducing, and then it'll lead up to a larger graphic novel after those characters are introduced.
Kind of reminds me of Conan. I mean, the face not the face, but like the double sword.
Oh yeah. Well, those are the Red Monks, and then of course you have the Rat God there, and then the Bull God is up in the top corner there. But they're actually raiding the Red Monks keep, and the Red Monks are supposed to be keeper of artifacts and different magical items, and these two are actually breaking in and stealing Tide Popper's pipe and the Bull God's armor.
It's awesome. Oh, let's look at the rat. Is that a 2-page spread?
It is. It is.
Right.
Most of what I do is going to be 2-page spreads.
Oh, wow. Kind of reminds me of, I might be wrong, but Simon Beasley. Like, he's always doing, like, you know,
right,
larger.
Well, and Simon Beasley was an influence as well. You know, some of his heavy metal cover or artwork, and of course his titles that he did and stuff.
Yeah,
that's the pencils when they're going into it's a 2-page spread as well, but it shows all the different artifacts that the Red Monks collected together. It actually shows some of in the cage are going to be some of the Juju dolls, which Juju is in the Mojo Rising. We hit a certain goal, and it released a Ashcan edition, which is called Juju, which actually talks about the voodoo dolls that are in the Mojo story. Yeah, but some of the dolls are in that cage there, and then there's a bunch of other magical items hidden around the cavern.
Oh, that's what I saw on the other one, right? The interlocking pages. I mean, cover.
In the what? In the the Juju.
Yeah, the Juju dolls were in interlocking cover. I'll show you what.
Yeah, and they were in that the first part.
The
one that had Mojo in it.
Yeah,
it's the one I don't think it's on this page yet. It's actually would be on the personal page. Those 3 pages are going to have like the vampires, the pus heads, and then those black creatures that are in the background. Yeah, that one's going to have
that's the one I saw before. Yeah, like I was looking at that, I was like, what are they?
Yeah, they're little voodoo dolls.
Yeah, so this one at the bottom here, that's how I recognized it. I was like, I saw those.
Yeah,
so
he has
the
bones in his hand, and he's getting ready to go after you.
That's pretty cool. Just been there.
But in a lot of my stuff, even in different stories, it'll have little images and stuff that connect them together.
Right.
I'll hide stuff in it. You know, and I kind of picked that up from Roman because he would always hide like a blue monkey in everything that he did. So there's going to be some blue monkeys hidden. Right. There's going to be voodoo dolls. There's going to be maybe license plates that say stuff.
That's cool. Is this like, are they the pinups?
Well, that's actually for the credit page. They're piled up in the corner of the credit page.
Wow,
on the left-hand side.
Cool. Yeah. So you got the words over here, and then you've got that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Oh, we're good.
That's the page where he's getting where the rainbow god is getting transformed into the voodoo doll.
Right.
And it shows him being stitched almost alive.
Oh, that reminds me, like, gosh, what was it? Hey, splash page. Okay, I've gotten over feeling guilty. No, splash page. Gosh, he's a veteran collector. He has a warehouse of comics, and he wears gloves, white gloves to unpack. So when I'm like, now, ever since I've seen him talk, and this has only been recently, the last couple of weeks, that whenever I open one of these, I feel guilty for, like using my fingers to open
putting your grubby hands on it.
Yeah, and they're always, we're in summer, so they're all grubby at the moment because of the heat and stuff. But so since he's here, I'm going to show you something. Splash page. Yeah, he's just saying that your work's got lots of background noise, lots of details. He has, and they look really fantastic. So here's an ash can from '93. Actually, let's get rid of that for a bit, and we'll come back to that soon. But so this is an ash can from '93 from Cyberforce. and it's got Walt Simonson's
That's cool.
signature in silver. And these were like, they actually came out with these like little things in a little bag sealed up like that.
Yeah, I
And
have a
so
Team
I opened it
88
just to
one.
make sure that, you know, there wasn't anything else in there. But, you know, that's the amount of details like they were doing right at that time.
Yeah.
And this is like Simonson's work as well, written and illustrated by Simonson. So yeah, when I'm looking at yours, I'm going, you know, that's the lot, you know, a lot of things going on and a lot of detail.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
glass
that's
flying out.
the guys that influenced me. Those
Yeah.
guys like that.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, there's so much. Let me see if I can find another page like that. You know, it's great work. I mean, so this one's like, this is number 0 Ashcan. It's like San Diego Comic-Con 1993. Was that 30 years ago? Created by Mark Silvestri, art and script by Walter Simonson, plot Eric Silvestri, Mark Silvestri, and Walter Simonson. Colors Joe Cheeto, but there's no colors because it's Ashcan. Letters by John Workman, and editor Cynthia Sullivan. Yeah, so Image Comics and Homage Studios. Is Homage the one that was? Oh no, that was Maximum, wasn't it?
That was Adam Hughes.
Yeah.
Brandon Peterson. I can't remember some of the other guys. Yeah, but Homage was a cool studio.
Yeah, I'm going to get the white gloves. I just keep forgetting to, but like you've changed me, I must say. Like the guilt in me has made me, you know, and I think it's a good thing. And I never thought about it, like how much oil can come off my hands, but I've always known oil does come off your hands, but like it's just, you know, what I was gonna do is like because I am still trying to. I'll just remembered I'll come back to that. But got this. I showed it on the other site, but we haven't shown it on here. The very first Todd McFarlane comic book art. And this is the All-Star Squadron, the secret origin of Dr. Fate from 1985 July. I was like 12 years old when this came out. How old is Todd McFarlane now?
Probably late 50s.
I'm 50, so he's got to be older than me. He's at least like 10.
Early 60s then, but
Yeah.
I know Rob Liefeld, who was the baby in the group, 18 or 19 when he started with them.
Yeah.
I think he's 4 years younger than me, and I'm 52, 53.
So yeah, he's maybe just under 60 then, if that's the case.
Under 60 or just early 60s.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I saw this come up on auction.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be over 70 because he still looks very energetic and, well. So I saw this on auction come up a couple of years ago, and I was like, "That's mine." Let's get this. I gotta have it. Yeah. But yeah, let's get back to your guys' work.
Todd McFarlane is 62 years old, according to.
So he's over
according to Google.
Yeah, so just over.
Greg Capullo is 61. Rob is 56.
Yeah, so he's only 6 years older.
Jim is 59.
Wasn't it like 18 years old and they sold one of his works for $20,000?
Well, he was in the TV Levi commercial, and then he just skyrocketed in fame on that.
Yeah.
Of course, the other guys, going through Marvel and DC, and they had their own little journey. But man,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I've always been a fan of Rob's, just with Deadpool and stuff. But really to do with like the mutant, no, new mutants. I kept saying like
The New
X-Men,
Mutants.
X-Mutants. Yeah, New Mutants. Because I was heavy into. That's what actually got me into Marvel was the mutants, Wolverine and the mutants, and I stayed there for like about forever, you know, since like since 80, maybe 87, 88. And then like 20 years ago, I came back to think.
See, I started collecting when I was, you know, young in the 70s. You know, I was born in 71, but I started collecting with allowance money and all that. We'd go to the grocery store and there'd be 16 foot of comics. You know, I'd pick out as many as I could with the allowance I had. So,
Yeah.
you know, Spider-Man, any of the war comics. I liked them.
Okay.
Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and Strange Tales and that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm a Kiwi, right? I mean, because I'm a Kiwi. Because I'm a Kiwi, it was 2080s all the way, and then Tintin and Tintin and what was it? Tintin, Asterix and Obelix, and that was it. 2080, Tintin,
Like
Asterix and Obelix.
those were European or French, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, I think it was French.
Yeah.
Goscinny, I think maybe Italian. Goscinny.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the pages you're showing there, there's actually 4 pages connected together, but you have to turn the page to connect them.
All right, give me a sec. I'll just grab this other stuff in. Have a look. Thanks, guys.
This picture that's showing right now is the Rainbow God running from the
that was the snake before,
and he's going back to Earth.
right? So it's this one.
That one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one are all tied together.
So it's 4 pages, did you say? Like 4 covers.
But they're matching on this side and then matching on this side.
Right.
So you have to turn them to get to them, but they're all matching. They all flow together.
I think for my next one of the next comics I want to do is like have like a fold out cover.
Yeah.
You know how like they have like one.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And then you fold it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got one, and then you got one more, but then I want to have another one just to be that guy. You know. So it's like now it's a 4 cup, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it folds out like over here, and I've never done it before, so I don't know how I'm going to do it. But like, not as a gimmick.
I've seen it
as
done
a cool
where
little thing.
You can lay the book down.
Yeah.
And then it folds out from the front cover, and then it folds out from the back cover, and you can flip it over, and it's like a 4-page.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about how are they going to actually print it that way to know that this is what they're going to do with it. It's like, you know, because the printers are elsewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Some of them can do it. If they have a web press, they can do it.
So here's what I was talking about with Splash Page Professor. So he's been collecting for 50 years next month.
Oh man, yeah.
See, he's got some gems, and like I mean,
I bet
not some, a lot of gems. Like he needed a warehouse to collect them. I mean, house them. So he built one. So he goes. Yeah, a lot of, that's why they suck. Don't have a lot of background work on covers anymore. It's sad. Yeah, not just covers, it's interior as well. You know, I saw art recently was just like something there and something here, nothing else. And one of the artists I was talking about today, and we're looking at this image here, and we're talking about like how you know, because of the work, it has a lot of buildings and stuff, and the building has to do with an actual building, but it's like fantasized actual building. Yeah. But because I was able to find the actual building, I was quite surprised that what I was imagining in my head actually existed in the world somewhere. So that's the dungeon. No, we want the actual. There we go, conflict. So this thing somewhere in the world exists, you know, and it just blew my mind. This is what I wanted, and this is what I was imagining, and then never saw it ever. And then suddenly, while I was doing my research, I saw this because my story says that they were coming up here and into this building, you know.
Right.
And this is the actual building, Civita Dying Town it's called, but it's in Italy, and it's this beautiful place, you know, like you can see, like, you know, it's crumbling almost.
Yeah.
But they're trying to give it new life, and you know, it's a village on a hill, and I wanted, you know, that was the whole thing in my story that you know, we've got an artist attached to. Hopefully, it all goes well to, you know, do, and he loves buildings. And I was like, this is what I want. I want someone who actually likes what I'm, you know, and it's like, good choice, you know, let's do this. So now we've got a local gentleman, Justin, who's a Kiwi. Rob's way more than yeah, gets way more shit than he deserves. Sure, he's had some budgie pages back in his day, but haven't we all? Yeah, and the thing is, just on that topic, I'll bring up something that's going to be very interesting, and hopefully I've got it here. Here we go. No, I was about to kill us. On this,
You know,
page. There we go.
The thing about those guys that get so popular like that, they're going to have fans that support them to the extreme. You're also going to get the people that hate them to the extreme.
That's it.
So,
there's no middle ground.
The
so I'm the guy in the middle going, I like it. I don't care. You know, I like Daredevil, and you know. So this is the funny thing, right? So this was only released recently. Like, what's the date here? Yeah, a week ago, right? 29th. And so the topic here was like the Avengers best-selling comic ever isn't by who you think. It's Rob Liefeld, right? You know.
He sells
and
comics.
Yeah. And what number is it? What number is it saying? Avengers #1. This.
Which it was the renumbered #1, not the from the
the Mightiest Heroes.
94 or something like that. 93.
Yeah, and you got Jim Valentino. I just saw an interview with Jim today, live stream with him on it. You know, and yeah, it was good. And you know, they're talking about this, and they also talk. I didn't even realize that Jim worked on Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't.
Way back
kind
when.
of revitalize.
No, the original.
Yeah.
So let me just bring it up. Jim Valentino. Guardians. Oops.
Maybe outside.
So where are we? 1969 team. And I didn't know that until the live stream I saw today. I was like, well, wow, okay, let's look it up. And sure enough, you know, he worked on that. So where's the team? Publication history, memberships. Where did I put the team? So they got created by Roy Thomas, 1968, Stan Lee, Arnold Drake, and there we go, Jim. Right, so this is the cover art by Jim Valentino from 1990. Is this a second volume? Oh, no. I wonder if this is second volume they're thinking of. Yeah, 1990 would be the second volume, right?
Second or third. I'm not, I can't remember for sure.
Yeah. Okay, go in now.
It may say down at the very, very bottom in the
Yeah.
credits.
Publication history. Right, so let's do a find. Jim Valentino.
Which I think Jim's one of those guys that doesn't get as much credit as he
Yeah.
in the industry, and he's never really one that I gravitated to either.
Mm.
You know, I did like Shadowhawk.
Yeah.
And I collected every one of those.
Right. So yeah, so he new character Starhawk, Starker, Orgard, and Shadowhawk's there. Starhawk. Oh, that's when they introduced them into this one, right? So 1989. So that series is what they're looking at. So it ran for 62 issues. And then I think that's when he moved over at issue 50. He was cut short when you co-founded. Yeah. So it got up to 50 issues.
Which, I mean, you don't hardly see that any, you know, it's the same way with Savage Dragon, Eric Larson. I mean, what is he up to? And he's the one that's drawn.
Oh, he just did 300, wasn't
it? Yeah, something like that. But I mean, he's drawn every one of them. You know, unlike McFarlane, who's up to 350, 370 or whatever, he hasn't drawn every one of his. Eric Larson has drawn every issue of the Savage Dragon. And of course, Cerebus, you know, that
Cerebus, yeah.
You know, up until McFarlane broke the record of publishing, he had the longest indie run. So it's, you know, those guys are amazing in just being able to sit down and do one every month like that.
But I think that's the problem now in like with the mainstream, right? It's like you do 6 issue and you're out. You do 6 issue and you're out. And we get a new 6 issue guy and like that sucks. And then you go like, oh, okay, wait a year or two and then you get a 6 issue that actually works. And like, why don't you just get the good guy to write the rest of it and just leave him there to write it all, man. And then if he starts sucking, then move him on. But now it's just like, give us your couple issues and be gone, you know, go somewhere else and get work. It's that whole kind of like no longevity. And that's another thing Rex and I talked about last week. We did like a 3-hour stream that like in manga, and this is what I want to do. That's why I'm like creating my entire world, right? I'm the only writer for my entire world. And so you got everything ties into the world that I'm creating. And so it's going to be ongoing. It doesn't matter where it's going. There'll be other stories ongoing. And so they're different characters in different places, but they're all part of this one world. Whereas like now it's like, okay, you go do Batman for 6 issues and you're gone, and now you're on Superman. Now you're, you know, or are you over in Marvel now? You know, what were you trying to do? We'll find out in 6 years when I come back or something. Yeah. So with these guys,
some of that is the editors and the sales dictate some of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, talking about like Valentino, right? So hopefully that guys don't mind me talking, you know, putting his work up here, but like, let me see, what was it called? It was Pop Expo XP or something. It was about at 46 minutes in. I think we talks about this when he pitched 3 ideas, he said, to Marvel. And the guy didn't read it for 3 months, right? The pitches he made. And I'm like, I get an email and I go send a reply within a day, right? Within a couple hours, I'm on it because I only sleep 5 hours a day now, it seems. And so now, have I got the right one? Yeah, Valentine. Yeah. So around about 30 minutes over, so I think about 40 something. He talks about
the one they liked was
I'm on the wrong one
what
again.
if the Hulk had stayed with the original Avengers.
Get away from that and get to the because I muted it once and now it stays muted. It's weird. It's weird, Jim. It's weird. All right. So 40.
So I pitched that, and I pitched.
Oh, here we go. This is it.
And I turned those 3 ideas into.
So listen to this. This is
He wanted
this
to
is
talk
more
to me in person in
what
San
we talk
Diego.
about.
Oh, I don't go to San Diego anymore.
About
And that's
editors at
true,
Marvel and DC.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Marvel and what you had going on last year.
C.B. Sobalski, who's, what is he, the editor-in-chief?
Yep.
Yeah. Whom I've known for, 7,000 years now. He got in touch with me and asked if I would consider doing a bit with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool. And then it kind of dropped and kind of floated in midair. And he had said that he wanted to talk to me in person in San Diego. Well, I don't go to San Diego anymore. It's too big for me. I can't navigate it.
I have a problem with our little one here. Same problem.
It's just too much. So then we talked afterwards. And I said, he asked if I had any ideas for Guardians or for Deadpool. I said I wouldn't do Deadpool without Rob, for one thing, which would be great fun to do something with him again. But I don't really have any interest in Deadpool, I think the movies are funny and all that, but, I don't think I've read a Deadpool comic, maybe ever. And as far as the Guardians go, I had 3 ideas. So he put me in touch with an editor. Now, I didn't say it to him, but I said it to myself. This has to be fun. I don't need the money. I don't need the exposure. I don't need to do this. This would be a nice way to wrap things up. I wrapped up Normal Man. I wrapped up Shadowhawk. It would be nice to wrap up the Guardians, to put it to bed. So I had 3 ideas. And I turned those 3 ideas into this editor that he had assigned. I think it was 3 months later, I nudged the editor and said, look, hey, if you don't like anything, then let me know. If you don't like the pitch. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. There were the 3 ideas, the 3 different pitches. One of them was, this was brought up by a reader back when I was working on the book. He had noticed that Yondu's god, Anthos, was an anagram for Thanos. Oh, there's a story there.
Yeah.
That was the one they chose. The other one was the Guardians coming back from the 21st century and winding up in the wrong dimension. And in this dimension, Kang was putting together an army. A very young Kang was putting together an army. And it was Rancors, lieutenants, and Force. And when you put them together, they're the Legion of Superheroes. And nobody seemed to notice that. So that was one of the conceits, have them fight the Legion. And then the other one was just a ground up reboot, which I said was probably a little too much like DC for them, But I figure at this point, who cares? Do a ground up reboot. I said the science will be correct up to today, which it never was. I did my best while I worked on the book to make the science right. But if you read the original Guardians story, it's a very thinly disguised. At the end they sing "We shall overcome." So it wasn't really a science fiction story. It wasn't really a superhero story. It was an emancipation story, which was big at the time. But the science was just made my head hurt. It was so bad. And I am an astronomy buff for real, so I know a lot of this shit. So I pitched that, and I pitched 2 what ifs. again, something that I feel close
this part here is
to.
very interesting. I found
One of them,
learned something.
the one I liked was what if the Hulk had stayed with the original Avengers? And the conceit there is, if you read Avengers #2, Iron Man and Thor are just being pricks to the Hulk. And the Hulk is really belligerent, but they're being jerks. And what happens is Jan steps in and stops them, makes them stop. And so Hulk immediately attaches to Jan. And eventually, throughout the course of the story, he becomes the Steve Gerber Hulk that thinks everybody is dumb, but he's very childlike, very, left to his own devices. And Jan, being as rich as she is, she buys a spread for the Hulk for him to just walk around in and not be bothered by anybody.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, that's the way it ends. The other one was, what if Peter Parker had turned into a human spider? So think of it like Cronenberg's The Fly, where he just mutates and mutates and mutates throughout the whole entire story and becomes literally a monster. That did not have a happy ending.
No. I was just about to say. I was about to ask where that one would go.
Like when he changes, is it all around Aunt May and Uncle Ben then? Because he really didn't have like a love interest at that time.
Yeah. Is it around his family? No, it's around the kids at school. I mean, he's literally changing into a spider, and there's no way to hide it. Multiple eyes, hairy body, multiple limbs. I mean, he's literally turning. Think of The Fly. Think of that movie, and how over the course of the movie, he literally turned into a monster. Same thing. Okay, that would be so. How would it end? They'd probably send him to Monster Island or something like that, to be the best way to save him, without killing him. But he could no longer exist with people. It's not a happy story. So one of my criteria was, I started saying earlier, was I didn't really need the gig, either one of them. It would have been nice, but I don't need them. So I decided I was not going to work with a young editor who thought he was going to bust the old man's chops. That just wasn't going to happen. The second it wasn't fun, I walk. And I don't care where the project is at, I would walk. So we settled on the first one, the Anthos Thanos one. And I sent in the plot. And 3 months later, I nudged the editor and said, look, if you don't like it, that's okay. You can tell me if I can fix it. And if not, we'll can it. But, let me know. He hadn't read it in 3 months' time.
Wow.
And then things got a bit worse. He started nudging me about a whole lot of different things. And his lack of enthusiasm for the project had seeped over to me. Mm-hmm. And so I sent them a note. I thanked CB for thinking of me. And I just said, I'm out. I'm walking. This isn't a negotiation.
Good for him.
I'm out of here. I would never treat someone working with Shadowline with the disrespect that I was shown.
Yeah. It's funny that you're bringing this up. I talk to a lot of pros. We have a lot of pros on the shows. I become great, like yourself, I become friends with, and we talk and things. And the biggest issue that I am hearing from, we'll call the big two, is editorial staff is a nightmare. And again, your personal experience. What I've heard is they're not fans of comics. They don't know the history of the comics. They don't know the history of the characters. So when you're pitching things to them, they don't fully understand, or they don't catch on the Easter eggs that the fans would be like, oh my God, that they got that in there. I haven't seen that in, how many decades with the books, or this and that. So there's a huge gap and just a whole, just the fans aren't there that are editing the books.
Right.
You know, the editors just, they're not, it's not like what it was, you know, or they're taking the characters and it's like, well, we can't do that with them anymore, you know, and there seems to definitely be a lack of respect too for creators like yourself. Like if I was that editor with what I know and what I've been a fan of, and someone's like, you're working with Jim Valentino, I would have to step out of my office. I'd probably go down the elevator, out the front door, go in my car and scream for joy that I'm giving this opportunity. Because I mean, why would you even pass that up just for the fact of just saying, I'm working on a book with Jim Valentino? Like, that just shows you, though, where the editorial staff is going and the type of people that they're hiring.
Well, he did come back with some notes, and he had some good points.
Yeah.
I told him so. I said, okay, let me work with this. But because we talked about what if, and he said that right now they're doing what ifs in like 5 blocks, you know, the same what if Miles Morales became Captain America? And I said, that's not a what if, that's an imaginary tale.
Correct.
And he's like, well, what's the difference? I go, well, what if begins at a point in history? That's where it begins. It cannot begin. So an imaginary tale is Lois Lane goes from an exploding Earth to Krypton where she becomes Superwoman. That's an imaginary tale. Can't happen. Didn't happen. Would never happen. That's the difference between the two of them. He didn't. I don't think he knew. I don't think anybody ever pointed it out.
I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it there because I don't want to take all their goodness. But that's worth watching, man. I think I shared the link twice because that's how good it was, and it's worth watching for just
some interesting stuff to see that some of the behind the scenes that those Marvel artists had to deal with. The veteran artist had to deal with.
Probably the last 10 years, right? Because that's what's been going wrong for the last 10 years. That's like a decade of trash that's been coming out, is because they chased away all the veterans because they hired all these new editors.
And I think part of that is Marvel thinks it's not artists and writers that make the stories, it's them. They think anything they put Marvel on is gonna succeed, instead of, okay, you need to have the writers, you need to have the artists, you need to have the letters, the color, you need to have the talent, or else your stuff is gonna tank. And I don't think they don't really, they've never been good at promoting talent. It's always been about the company over time.
Maybe that it's probably the pushback and the whole image situation, right?
Well, it could be. I mean, they're not going to give anybody a chance like that again.
Yeah. If you make these guys superstars, they'll leave. And it's like, well, actually, they're going to leave anyway because you're not doing anything with them. You're not actually utilizing their strengths. That's what I've been like with me. Like, I've all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of artists coming, offering to jump in and do some work. And I'm like, what's your, whatever your strength is, that's the book I'm going to choose to give to you, right? And then I'm going to ask you after giving it to you, does that sound like fun for you? Because if it doesn't, then I'm going to try something else, because you're not going to enjoy it, then you're not going to put your 100% into it. But if you find this, especially when it's illustrating, right, and you're designing these characters, if they're not fun for you, and if the story isn't fun, you're not going to put your 100% in, I think, I'll show you this, we had this one book, we did, that's just been announced and that's got attached, and we've got designs come through, and which is Zealandia, Fantastical Romy. And so this is, just pages within a week that this artist turned up and sent, and I was quite surprised. I was waiting for a couple of weeks, right? But within a week, printed it out, started, did the characters,
started the thumbnails.
Yeah, or he done the thumbnails. Because he's, you know, it's like I offered couple and I said, I actually saw a picture you've done of a dragon, and because I see the dragon and I can also see the knight, this is gonna work for me. So I'm excited about your artwork. And then you know, then I turn around, what do you think? And so I've got this one here, the superhero one. Or, you know, what are you interested in? Like, I like this one. It's like, okay, tell me more. I said, okay. I wasn't going to do it for about 5 years, but now that I've got you, how about you take on board? And like, okay. And so, you know, because now he's excited about it, he goes away, design. I've got a whole bunch of reference photos, so now he's got that to work off. But then I go, well, apart from these main characters, anything goes. You design any way you want. And now he's able to, you know, feel free to come up with whatever he wants according to what's, you know, apart from what I've referenced, he can, you know, design other background characters, images, and, you know, what, you know, that works. And so he did about 11 pages of it, which was a surprise, you know.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to, you know, I chucked it on my thing so I can actually put some speech bubbles and just send it back to him, guys. This works this way. And, you know, and so you can concentrate on this area so you don't have to worry about under this bubble, you know. And
well, that's
yeah,
cool. That's fun.
Yeah, it really surprised me. So, you know, it's like you know, because I put my notes in there as well, like type it and go see this reference picture or here that's happening, and you just go whatever you want, you know, and do it. And yeah, so this is the opening page, and I'm like, okay, you know, this looks cool because he's got 2 panels. That's it, you know, and that's all I asked for. And it's just because I don't have a lot of captions and stuff. It's setting me up where it's going to captions maybe like, but I'm never putting captions over any artwork. That's, you know, I never cover over artwork because just the way I work, it's like, what's the point of having art if you're just going to throw, you know, captions over it? Yeah, so
that's one thing I need to work on is giving breathing room for the captions and letters in my work.
yeah,
If you lettered my stuff, you'd have to throw some stuff over some of my art because I fill up everything.
If there isn't enough like space for captions, sometimes I'll move it over to another page, right? Or I'll rewrite it smaller, or I'll work it around it, you know, put little sentences all over the place rather than one big thing, because I know that I don't want to change the art. I'd rather change my writing and my storytelling because I have more control anyway.
Well, but the artist also needs to be able to work with you and give you space.
Yeah.
And that's something I have to work on with my artwork. So I know that. So luckily I work with Keith Braun, who's good at fitting that stuff in. So
yeah, with me, it's like, send me the pencils and I'll put the bubbles on.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you see the bubbles there and how it reads, and then you can then decide to ink. You know, otherwise, if you don't do the pencils and then I do the letters first, what happens is that you don't know where the letters are going to go, and you're just going to do that, put all your energy into an area that's probably going to have bubbles on it. And it's like, that's wasted both of our times and ruined the page, basically. Yeah. And, you know, but I think, yeah, I found that interview with John
collaborate well with the artist. I think that's with giving reference to. I think that's really good. I wish more writers would do that.
Yeah,
I like.
I'm always like because I don't know how to describe people, you know. So the best way is I just Google search a whole bunch of actors, and then I pick which one looks, you know, like if I go like 18-year-old female, this nationality, right? Actor. I don't put normal people, I just go actor or something like that. Or sometimes it'll be like school girls or something, but I only need to like the uniform or some shit like that. And then, you know, just random people. And then I'll just go change it now, you know. That's the look, but you do whatever you want with how that looks, because I'm not stuck on the, you know, the look. I'm more about like the structure of the face more than like where the nose is, what the ear is, and all that shit. I just want the structure, you know. If it's a mousy look, that's the mousy look, you know.
Right. It always helps to have reference, though, as an artist when you're going into a new project.
Yeah.
Especially like some of the scenes, like bringing up that town at the top of the hill, you know, in the rock. And I mean, you could try to describe it, but then you could say, well, you know, reference the picture and
just won't work.
you might change this or this, and then boom, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it never has to be exact with me. It's like, I don't mind if it's not exact, because that's not all what I want. It's just my imagination. Like, and then use your imagination to give me what you think it is, and I'll be happy with it. Yeah. I think, I just feel so sad for all these legends who, you know, who just are floundering because you got these editors who know nothing straight out of college. And it's always been there. Straight out of college, first job, and I'm going to make my stamp on it. And because, you know, they got to make, if I don't put my stamp on it now, I'll never, you know, and I might never have a job. So they're like, oh, it's just sad.
You know, in most of those cases like that, if they just done nothing, it would have been better.
Yeah.
And then button heads with those veteran artists or veteran, you know, whatever, writers. Or...
Well, the other side of the coin is that these guys are decades in the business, right? Decades, and they're masters of their craft. Who the hell is a 20, 30-year-old to tell a 70-year-old, oh, I think this is going to work? Unless they've also researched and done and had that experience. And I think that's the problem now. It's like a lot of them just think they know everything because they Googled it, right? You know, it's like, why don't you Google Valentino and see what he's done, and then go, I'll go read that book now. You know, let me see what he's talking about. Oh, is it about Guidance Galaxy? Okay, let's go and read that. And it's like, it's so easy now to do that. Just type in, you know, that issue, and like, you know, like I did with them, it's like Jim Valentino, Guidance Galaxy. You know, it just took me a couple of seconds to do that, and like I found out that he did write that. And now I know he's 50 issues. Like, that's a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Hell, it's crazy to, you know, get past 12 issues at the moment at Marvel or DC, let alone 50.
I mean, you even look at, I think, Greg Capullo, he did, of course, Spawn, he did several long strings, but his Batman was only, 20 issues or 24 or something like that?
Yeah.
And then he took a break, and then a small project, and then so, you know, even some of those now aren't even doing that long of runs on things, like some of the veterans that, or even some of the manga artists. You know, if you look at those and okay, this is a 300-page book, and it's drawn by a team of artists, and it looks consistent throughout, so you think, well, it's probably one artist over maybe two are filling in backgrounds, or one might be inking, and anyway, but it's a consistent team that's doing all these pages. I mean, you can look at probably any of Marvel's, and you're not gonna get over a 12-issue run nowadays.
Oh, they just reboot it. Because nobody buys it, and then they reboot it, and then nobody buys it, and then they reboot it again. Yeah. Because whoever's writing it isn't a skill that work or that character, and it's just like what is it called? Like musical chairs, really. You know, that's all it is. It's like, oh, that doesn't work. Let's do it again with somebody else. Let's do it again with somebody else. Yeah. One thing that really has always bothered me about DC has been the ejection or whatever was of Karen Berger, right? Someone who'd been there for 30 years, had put out everything she'd put out, the way she'd work with the writers, right, was gem, right? Was perfect. And her assistant was Shelley Bond. So they got rid of Karen Berger. And then so Shelley Bond had to go in. And then they replaced her, right, with this guy who killed the whole thing in 6 months. Destroyed the whole 30 odd years worth of history in 6 months. Yeah. Like you had Preacher, you had Swamp Thing, you had Why the Last Man, you know, all these things are not TV shows, right? Yeah. And like, and then in 6 months, the guy destroyed it. And I was like, I know better, right? New boy on the team, and it's like, oh, I know better than these women who have been there for 30 odd years, right? Or 20 years, I think it was for Shelley Bond. And it's like, well, you know, like imagine what those guys, the British people that she brought over, or how they come over, all those people, how do they handle working with her for that long and yet put out gems all that time? I mean, she must have been a master at a craft, which, you know, in the end, I think, like you said, left to themselves to, you know, create and nudge along with it.
At this point, I think in time, you know, for me personally, I don't collect now. I mean, there's indie stuff that I do, or if I know people, I'll collect their stuff. But for the most part, I don't go to the comic store and buy books off the shelf much anymore, unless there's just a title like Conan or, and I like the art team and the writing team. But now I just don't randomly pick up stuff because most of it is crap, to be honest. And it's not aimed at me. Is another thing. I mean, 52 years old, they really don't have a whole lot that they're aiming at me.
Yeah.
But I'm actually one of the biggest demographics of collectors, and they're not producing stuff that I enjoy collecting.
Yeah. Well, that's why I moved to toys. Same thing. I just moved to toys because it was like, okay, there's nothing here for me, but I can move to toys. And so the last 2 years, I've, you know, all I did was for the last 2 years was variant covers. I like the art style. I got that. And that was it. Random, you know. And then probably about 4 months at the end of last year, I was like, I just went, I'm just going to wean myself off this completely. And that was it, you know. And I've just started going, well, indie comics, I'll just buy those because at least I know those guys are trying to do something creative, something interesting, and actually might have a better story, right? And I'll give a chance on that. Whereas like there, I know they're not trying, you know, I know those stories are shit. So why bother putting money in there? But then I can turn around and buy a toy that I like and it's going to sit there and it's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy it. But then why, you know, over there, it's just shit comics. And that's why I say, like, in, you know, like you said, 10, 15, 5, 10 years, indies are going to really, you know, if they keep working and producing at the level we're producing it, which is like every 4 months, right? Every 6 months. And you get a whole bunch of stuff they get, and they go trade, and you can work that trade. And like what Ross was saying, you know, Ross was saying that, you know, translate to other languages, you know, you could do that as well. And next thing you're reaching out across the world and to people that don't even speak a language, actually enjoying the indie comic, right?
Well, I think now is the prime time for indie comics, you know, with, you know, the last basically 10 years with Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding sources. Although it is, I think, maybe hurting comic stores, but I think they might need to adapt and start buying comics directly from creators if they want to get product in the hands of their customers that are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, and previews isn't the end all be all. Matter of fact, it's kind of going downhill because of the 2020 thing that went on where they split.
Yeah. Pencils down. No more previews. We don't have the money to make it. It's like, what did you do all these years? Did you not think bubble was going to burst sometime?
Yeah.
You know?
And it did bust. And, you know, and of course I went through back in the 90s with them becoming the per se monopoly, because there were 3 distributors and then all of a sudden there was just them. I saw it go from that to the reverse of that now.
Yeah.
You know, but now is a great time for indie comics. You know, and we need to work more with getting books into comic stores to keep them alive.
Yeah.
I think comic stores are gonna have to work with indie comics, and it may mean a little bit more work on the shop owner's part too.
Yeah.
Because they don't have one spot that they can go and buy all these books anymore. You know, and even now they have to go to Diamond, to Penguin, to, I can't think the other one. So that's kind of already happening to them because of the Diamond breakup in 2020. And Image and Marvel and DC did that to them. But if they're not going to produce books that people want to buy, then they're going to have to go to the indie market, where Kickstarters prove that customers want to buy their books. You know, whether it be a $5,000 campaign or a $20,000 or $30,000 campaign. Some of that's on the fault of the person doing it, is maybe not marketing as well, but you can almost judge, okay, I need to have 2 of those books and 5 of those books or 20 of those books, because you can kind of see the amount of that you could probably sell in the store.
Yeah, well, some are doing that though. Like some people like actually are buying variants and then reselling them. Like even store owners are like going, okay, well, I'll buy that and I'll buy that, and then like,
well, some people are making a lot of money doing that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
and Larry over at Nobi was saying that, and you know, why his, you know, other people, like, especially with foils and stuff like that, like variant covers, like if you only got 50, like what we're doing, like I'm like making sure that certain covers only like about 2 or 3, and that makes it very, you know, collectible. And that's my way of rewarding collectors, because, you know, well, why not? And at least this way, you know, you get what you want and I get what I want, and I can, you know, pay the artist for that, and then, you know, you can do whatever you want with it, but like at least you got it, right? And you supported us.
Well, I mean, I think any good Kickstarter is going to look at that and go, okay, I need something for the entry level reader that just wants to read it, that might want to have either a digital or a physical copy. I need to have the guy that might want a little bit more, so you have that mid-level pricing, and then you have the collector's level.
Yeah.
So I think any good Kickstarter is going to have those things. You have the grazer, you have the one that's going to, you know. So you design your Kickstarter to match those things that that way you can give people what they actually want. You know, if you have somebody that collects everything, then you have the everything package.
Yeah.
If you collect if somebody collects, I just want the book and any rewards that are unlocked.
Yeah.
You have that package. Or I just want to read it on my tablet. Then you get that to them. So then you're hitting all the people in how they collect and how they read, or that type of thing. And I think any good Kickstarter does that.
So I want to show you
comic
this.
shops can do the same thing.
I was quite surprised when you're talking about like everything, right? I was quite surprised that, you know, we had this option for Incredi-Girl that, you know, right at the, I think it was like here. I think the highest we went last year was like this one, all in, right? All in tier, all in with this one. So you got cover A, B, C, D, E, F, G, plus the poster and trading cards, you know. And then there was plus, you know, then we went on like this one here. Then we said we'll draw you into Incredi-Girl 2, but we drew them into Incredi-Girl 1 instead. Right? So why wait for, you know? And so it's like now you don't have to wait for number 2. Now we got you to issue 1, and I forgot that we did it for 2, but I just went, hey, you know what? Let's just put them all in this, you know. And I think we had like what was this? How many people bought that? 2 people bought that, so we got 2 people in that one, and then we also did another one as well, like a speaking role one, you know. Yeah, there we go. So 2 with speaking roles and 1 just appearance. And just, you know, basically said, send in your image or send in your character. We do that. And so, you know, then you had, you know, the diamond tier was like just, I think it was, then we had a wraparound foil and stuff. Not doing a wraparound foil this year. With Robot Nation, but like, you know, we had some pretty cool options for everybody on this one. You know, that was a wraparound full foil. And I think that's all we did, I think, with this one.
Yeah.
And you got to see something that, you know, if you got this one, you're the only one who got to see what wasn't going to be later on, you know. And so that was kind of interesting. And I think, what was it? We got about, I think, 4 out of that. Oh no, that was just 1 person, but I think, we got this one. So we had about 1 each basically everything one we did got hit. So
Right.
only two
I mean-
people in the world,
And
right?
when you do that, then it's like getting a custom made vehicle or a custom made whatever.
Yeah,
Then that person can fit that level that fits them. You know, they, oh man, I get to have my face in this comic that
Yeah.
that I'm part of helping this person get this funded because this
Yeah.
is their passion. You know, and so you're giving them a little something back, a wink, a nod, a tip of the hat to them for helping you get this done. You know, so it's cool that stuff like that's able to do.
Well, the weird thing was I never planned it. When we did this whole comic book, we never planned it. So I had to go back in later and go, where would they fit? You know, because we've
Right.
offered this, where would they fit? And so that was fun. There was enough space there for it, and it was really cool. But I mean, the other thing, apart from that, and that's in every single issue they're appearing, it'll be in every single issue that's ever published, you know, for the regular cover out there in the shops and everything. But only two people who bought the wraparound know who that character is on the back of that when they get it. Nobody will know until another 6 odd months or something, you know, or whenever the next issue, you know, gets into people's
Well,
hands.
and you know, and that's the wink at, you know, the wink, like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, and I know, but nobody
Yeah.
else. You know,
Exactly.
it's a secret handshake into the club.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. So
And it's also a tribute cover as well, which is kind of like, it kind of, you know, it hits twice. Like you don't know the secret character, and also it's a tribute cover as well.
that's
And
cool.
and it's from a New Zealand artist, which, you know, you get to have, you know, someone who's actually just one of my friends who's just himself has started, you know, put his comic out, which is this one here, self-published it. And I'm trying to get him to do a Kickstarter as a trade, you know.
Cool.
So this is like, you think about Conan, as a fan of Conan, he's a huge Conan fan as well, but also Mad Max, right?
Oh yeah.
So with him, and this is only issue 2, it's about, issue 3 is about to hit, so it's about a 4-issue series. So, you know, that's his art style. And so with him, he does paintings which get sold like $400 each. But he's always, you know, oh, where is it? Oh, there we go. But big huge Judge Dredd fan, big huge Mad Max fan, and also big huge Conan fan. So, you know, you get all that, you know, sort of like coming across into like wasteland kind of thing. So this is him here on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that the other night. You showed that.
Yeah.
That
So-
that's cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces of artwork,
Yeah.
hand painted and everything. You know, it's just Judge Death and Judge
Judge.
Dredd.
That's cool.
And yeah, so I actually have a couple pieces of his work, but I'll show you this one. The weird thing is that I forget that I have these because they're in the kitchen, and because they're in glass and hanging and everything. But this is one character that we haven't actually put out as we mentioned him. I think we've mentioned him, but we haven't you know, put him out there. But that's Red Dot, and he was created about 2015. But you will recognize this character. So he did a whole series of like robot versions of characters, you know, famous characters. So you got Punisher Robot from like about 2014. I think he did a whole series of them. And I think he did like Judge Dredd as well. And gosh, I think he did a
Kind of
couple
did
of
a
Marvel
mesh
ones.
up with stuff with the robots. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting, yes. And I've got a couple we released a little while back. I think it's like somewhere like in my like specific lock, you know, special important collection carton. But a little while back, when I had the shop, my comic shop, I had the blanks from Amazing Spider-Man came out or something, or Ultimate Spider-Man, wrap around white covers. So I had him draw uh, I had him draw this, right, red dot on cover, and he was getting into like blowing. I think it was another character, like shooting another character on the wraparound. Then he did another one where it was like Deadpool, and he was using fly spray to kill Spider-Man, right, with fly spray. So it was
Yeah,
really, yeah. I don't know where they are, but they're with the most important ones.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fun.
Now,
Getting
you
those
have a
specialty
Kickstarter
pieces.
coming up soon, right?
What's that?
You have a Kickstarter coming up soon, or you just finished one?
We just funded. Well, we funded one. I'm behind on getting it shipped out and fulfilled. So I'm catching up on it, and yeah, I kind of got when I got hit with COVID, it kind of slowed that down, and I made the mistake of tying 2 Kickstarters together.
Right.
So it made 2 of them late because the connecting covers and they shipped together.
Yeah.
So, but it was with 2 different studios. It was with the Outlaw Studios and the Creative Knot Studio. So we're getting the Mojo out, Mojo Rising 2, which is going to be close to a 60-something page book for just a number 2 issue. And then the other one is an anthology, which has those 3 King Chronicles, Pero, and Cyborg and Kayla in it. So, but yeah, wrapping those up. That's actually what I'm working on tonight is some graphic design work. And I have, I think, 3 or 4 more pages to color, pinups to color. And then I have 4 pages to finish drawing. And the Juju ash can that's part of the Mojo Kickstarter will be done and be off to the letterist. So
cool. Yeah, I think that's a cool thing about actually Kickstarter is that people know, and it's more personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this is where I'm at with this. This is where this is where I'm at, and so people don't mind waiting. It's like, I mean, back in the day, it was like we don't know it's coming out.
Yeah,
we just don't know. Like a year, 6 months, don't know. Whereas now you can go, hey, have a look at my Facebook page. This is the place I'm at. And then I feel like me on Kickstarter, on podcast, I go, okay, this is where we're at with this book right now. This is the art now. I had to wait a week to get my a single panel done for Kickstarter because they didn't like the art that it was a bit for work. So, but in that time, my colorist had to be somewhere and not home, and he told me, and I said, so yeah, 4 days, that's fine. But and because a lot of times people think that just because I'm okay, everybody else is okay. And I think the fact that we can get up here and say, listen, you've had long COVID, and and this, and so now it's taking a bit slower. A lot of people, like, even if you say that, they still become impatient.
Yeah.
And it's
weird.
And
I can understand that, and I can sympathize with that. But I know I'm trying as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And in everything I do, I'm going to give my 100% or 110%.
Yeah.
So, and anybody that actually knows me knows that when I'm in, I'm 110%.
Yeah. And that's the difference as well with indie creatives. I mean, like those who really care, right? If you really like your book, if you're passionate about it, you're going to give it everything you've got. And so if it's not fully completed or you don't feel it's perfect the way you at that time feel, you're not going to put it out.
Yeah.
And if somebody's complaining, so if this book goes out, you're not going to be happy this way, right? Yeah. So just wait a bit and I'll get it finished. And and I think because they're so used to the whole Marvel way, it's coming out this month, it's coming out next month, but they've never been through that. It hasn't been out for a year. You're waiting on that one issue.
Yeah.
Or 3 years, right? Sometimes it was 3 years, if I remember right. There was like a situation over at Image with the Top Cow, and I think it was 3 years. JMS just basically wasn't going to complete the last 2 issues. That was it. And I'm like, so by the time I found out who he was and that he was doing the Babylon guy, right? 5 guy was writing for Image Comics, Rising Stars. I had already collected everything, and number 2 was just coming out. It's like, what? So because I had to go back issues of all of it,
Right.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good, yeah, like you said a while ago, though, the good thing with the Kickstarter is you can stay pretty closely connected. You don't have to, like back in the 90s, previews came out, and then 3 months later, the book was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Image Comics is notorious for the preview come out, and then 6 months, 9 months, a year later, the book comes out. So,
but by that time, it's a dead IP, really, because if it's taken that long, people forget about it.
yeah.
And
Which
you don't want people to forget.
Me personally, I'm worried about that with my own property here,
Yeah.
with my own books here, because it has taken me longer than it should have to get these out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to regain all my customers' trust. I'm gonna have to show, okay, these books, so I'm gonna have to basically go back 4 years and start over again.
Yeah.
And rebuild what I was building.
Well, I think with the way things are going, right? I mean, as long as we're personable, right, with the backers, with everybody, letting them know where we're at, give them a monthly update and stuff like these. This is where I'm at. I think it won't be that hard. Well, we hope it won't be that hard.
Well,
but for me, because we just did Incredi-Girl in about August, about to get, as soon as that gets into people's hands, even though it's in a different studio, right, different thing, Robot Nation comes across onto our one with plungenz, and that goes, and then so when was it issue 2 of while issue 2 of Incredi-Girl is running, Robot Nation is running now, right? But they're different artists. And so different teams are working on that. And that's easy for me as a writer. But when you're an artist on 2 books, that's kind of difficult. And that's one thing I've tried not to do. It's put 2 artists at the moment. I've got one colorist on 2 books, but it's 4 months of being able to color that book. So you got 2 months to, that's okay. But if you're doing illustrating, that's a bit difficult to sort of work out and get things out on time. So I went you know what, we're going to put Robot Nation will probably go, put a date as August. However, the art's already done. All it needs to do is get the colored. That's it, right? And that could be done within 2 months. And if it's done in 2 months, it goes to the printers in 2 months, right? As soon as money's all cleared, and then it gets into people's hand within 3 months, rather than the 6 months I've said. And so that then allows me to put another book out, because that's been done while I've been waiting. Another book's been done, which is Templeton. Templeton's penciled, it's completed, all my lettering's done on it. The book has been designed, all the back issues, back matter and all that. All it needs is inking and coloring. But that allows 4 months for that, or 6 months, because I've given myself 6 months. And so, but that also, what that does for me as a writer, by having several books.
Inks on that in a month.
What's that? Sorry?
I should be able to finish inks on that in a month if I can just focus. The most probably 2, but
yeah. But the other thing is because I've got different books coming out different times, so in between. So now that they've got my Incredi-Girl book in their hand, now they can get my Robot Nation while they wait for the Incredi-Girl 2, right? And so I'm trying to make sure that
in the front of their mind.
And not go, well, I've got a book and it'll be coming out. The next book will be coming out in 6 months. By that time, they moved on to some other book. But hey, why don't you support me within 3 months on another book? And so you're moving back and forth, and so that builds up an audience that is enjoying what I'm creating with the artists I'm working with. Kind of like a steady 3 month, 4 monthly book every 4 months out. Because that makes them realize that we have a steady flow of books coming out. But then when the shops get them, they also know that the next book's number one's coming out of this, number one's coming out of this, number two's in, number two's in, number three's in, number three's in. And but that also helps the economy as well, because then now you're getting money to be paid on time and stuff.
Well, and
Like
with the multiple projects, you have multiple streams. And then, like if you set up at a comic convention, okay, here's my books. If you have 1, 2, 3 out, or 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, whatever, alternate covers, A covers. It's just a good presentation, and they say, this guy's serious about it. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy this and never see another issue.
Yeah.
And I saw that with Seventh Wave Comics when I was working with them. The more books we got out, it exponentially the more books we sold, because they thought, okay, just one, you might sell 100 at the Seattle Comic Con. When we had 1 and 2, we sold 300.
Yeah.
When we had 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 7, then we sold a lot more. Because I want to grab all of them, or I want to grab the last 3 that I hadn't got, or the last 2. But they start seeing that you're going to be around, that you're not just going to leave them hanging without a story ending or whatever.
And nobody wants unfinished book. I mean, it's sometimes it's hard to finish a book because things happen, people get sick, and but or people get injured and things happen. Stuff happens. And you don't know when it's going to. But in the meantime, you can give them another book, which is where I'm with this. It's like, okay, well, that's waiting. You can grab this book that's finished, and so on. And that sort of builds that audience, and that's really what you want. It's if you're an indie creator, you want to have a what we say in business, like especially with owning a shop, return customers, right? Yeah. You want return customers, loyalty, and but really in that time you're actually creating friendships as well, because 20% of those so-called customers will stick with you.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's your number one backers.
Sorry?
They can be your number one backers or supporters.
Yeah. And I think, especially when I did the research for opening comic shop, my comic shop had young kids, had girls, had mums, had dads, all ages. And I researched every single, like all the top shops in the world. And I thought, what comic shop works? All right. It smells nice. It's clean. Right. It's when you walk in, you smell. Girls like to smell. They don't like sweat. They don't like smelly feet. Right. Okay. I don't like that either. When I walk into a place, it's like, this is grotty. I walk back out. So what I do, I had air freshener, and I also had deodorant for the guys. Hey, dude, chuck this on. Come on and go and play. Or hey, your shoes smell. Air freshener on your shoes. Nobody complained.
Yeah.
Because they saw like, they could bring their girlfriends and they'll be fine. And the girlfriends would get into playing cards or, read manga or whatever. And then they could go play D&D in the room and everybody be fine, and because it didn't smell. In a small fishbowl room, it didn't smell because, everybody understood this place is going to be clean. And it was like, and then like 20% of those people became my friends. And then, and they have supported me all these years, right? And they actually became part of my convention and helping me run that. And now they own their own, 4 of them own their own shop now. That's right. Cool. While I'm not in shops, now in conventions and doing this, they own their own shop now. And, behaving the same way I used to behave, because, they've learned and they carried on the game of like looking after people after, I shut down. And,
cool.
And I think this is something that like, why comics failed also, apart from the relationship, and there's a fact there's no personal relationship with the shops between the business between the manufacturer, and then also because of that, because of all the terrible books that are coming out, there's no relationship with the customer, with the shop. Yeah. Because like why am I going to go to the shop if it's like hardly any good stuff there? So that's done. And then the shop's going, I can't stock your crap books anymore, because they're not selling.
Yeah.
And so you got three things that have really hurt. If you think about it, the manufacturers, which is Marvel and DC and all those guys, and then you got the business store owner getting shafted, and then customers getting shafted, and then also in the comics, there's no relationships.
Unfortunately, I think society's kind of going that way.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at their phone and they don't look up and see everybody around them.
Yeah.
I think we need to make a conscious effort to look at people, look them in the eye, look at their pain, look at their happiness.
Yeah.
If they need help or if they're having a good day, and actually look at people instead of looking at our phones, which is just ruining stuff, I think.
That's why like I do this. Like I don't have my avatar on, right? Unless I've got to do something.
Okay.
And I always make sure that people see what I'm saying and how I'm on there. But the other thing for me is like, even when I'm like having like meetings, I always make sure, hey, we're doing on either on video or we're doing on phone. We're not texting. Except I think I had one person who was like not fluent on, couldn't speak English that well, so that's that. But I make a point of going and seeing my family every month. Like even when I'm busy, I make sure that I try to schedule out of there, because I know I can just get up and do this and then go back, lie down and work on my computer, because of my spine. I'm always in bed like 90%, 80% unless I'm doing this. And so I think that's the effort you're talking about, right? Making an effort to get away from, because if I'm at home, I'm staring at a screen, and or the TV screen, or listening to YouTube while I'm working. But now over there is no TV on, because we're all there to hang out, and we're all there to just gel, and the other thing I do is like every week I spend 3 hours with a friend shopping, and we talk. Right, those are two things that I make sure, because otherwise I'm stuck at home. Yeah. And I think that's the problem with us, because of this whole thing of being digital all the time. That is like, just like you said, I didn't really think about it. It's like it's actually taking us away from people, being real with people and being personable with people.
It's the contact, it's the relationship, the looking at somebody and knowing, okay, they're having a good day, or they're in pain and I need to be here. It's that type of stuff. You miss that in text. You miss that in being an artist, comic artist, and doing graphic design. I spend a lot of my time by myself. I make sure that, and especially the older I get, I make sure when I'm with my family, with my wife, with my grandbabies, with my kids, that I'm whole 100% there with them. I'm not thinking about other stuff. I'm not looking at my phone, although it happens sometimes, but try to make more of that time, because the older you get, the more you realize you don't have a whole lot more time. I mean, my time here is essentially half over. 52. If I live to 100, I'm on the downhill side. So.
And the other thing of it is that none of this is going to matter. Once we're gone, we hope it's going to be something.
What I leave in my grandbabies. It's what I leave in my kids that's going to matter. The relationship, what I leave in friends.
It's the same thing with me. It's like all I'm creating here is I've got a nephew who's going to take it. Right? I'm like, it's yours, right? So I'm building this up because he's just like me. He draws, he writes, and I'm like, you're the only one that I know would enjoy this. So you get all of this. You get all the IPs, you get all the work, and you get all my comics, and you get all my toys and all that. And the other ones can like share what you don't like, but you get everything else. It's all yours. And not that they need it,
Yeah.
because they're really well looked after. But it's just like, you know, it's just me because I don't have kids, and I'm divorced, and so, you know, so I thought, like, if I'm going to do something with myself, then this is going to be lasting for someone else, you know. And I think, and not only that, it's also the fact is opening doors for everybody else. That's why we do this. That's why we do the convention. So we got young kids who are coming up.
Well, I
who
mean,
see, you know,
you've put yourself into your comic when you had the comic shop. You put
Yeah.
yourself into those 20% you were talking about.
Yeah.
You put yourself into the other people that come to the comic shop. You put yourself into the people that you work with.
Yeah.
You know, so your attitude, your personality, the way you approach stuff, you're passing some things on, and it's the relationship that you have with other people, you know, and you know, I'm a person of faith.
Yeah.
So faith means a lot to me, but it's relationships with my God and with people.
Yeah.
That makes the difference.
Mm.
And that's
Well,
really the only reason I'm here is those two things: the relationship with my Savior, and then the relationship with other people.
Right.
That's it.
And like my whole family is like, they're all faithful, right? Like, I think my sister's family's Christian, my mum's Christian, and so we've got, you know, we've got Hindus and we've got like some Muslim and all that. So I'm the only one who, you know, just I've got a background in it. But my thing's always been about that whole relationship with people. And even like when we do our interviews, right, it's about like, how do I get the knowledge from them, from whoever I'm interviewing, and making sure there's something gold in that, and usually there is. 90% of the time. And that when people watch this later, years, because I know I'm watching things from 1990
right,
on YouTube, right? I'm watching image interviews from 1990. I'm watching people doing documentaries from other people, right, from the past. So someday somebody will watch these interviews and maybe they'll get something out of it. Or some kid who's at the, you know, who's at the convention will pick up something, and then mum will go, oh, what did you think of? I like that drawing. Oh, okay. Well, do you think you'd like to draw? Yeah, okay, we'll get you some paper and colored pencils and we'll start that up, because if you don't, let me know, but we'll start somewhere. And I see that happen, you know, and it's like, it's really cool because some people come go, it's not for me, and then we'll move over. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to do that, you know.
Right.
And I think that's what, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that conventions work that way as well.
Yeah.
You know, when parents bring their kids along and brothers and sisters come along, and they can also get inspired, not just buy, you know. And I've seen a lot of bigger conventions turn people away because of the buy. You know, we're just a business. Spend. But I can spend an hour just talking with a creative and not look anywhere else. You know, I'll just sit there with friggin', I think it was like some guy that was working for Marvel, and I just sat there for an hour and asked him about his life, you know, and didn't care about anything else.
About people, you can find. I mean, you can find stuff that's you have in common, and then you can find stuff that I never approached that way, or I never thought about doing stuff that way, or okay, I see now why your art's influenced in this way. You know that. So, and you don't get that if you don't talk to them, or if you don't know their story. Right? And you can say that about anybody. You know, you could talk to a homeless person and say, "What's your story?" Or you can talk to the president and say, "What's your story?" They may have similarities.
Yeah.
And then they may have that one moment where they decided something different, and it put them on the path that they're put on.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that may help you in your own path. Say, well, you know, if I choose this, then this may happen, or if I choose this, then this may happen. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't talk to people, to other people, you know, or have mentors, or have the relationships, or, you know, when people are asking you don't know that you might be that influence on somebody's life that gives them the difference between going to jail or becoming a rock star comic artist, or being able to create their own thing, or, you know.
That's the thing. you know, and that's what I like about what Valentino said. He said, like, you know, it's not. I'm not the one who, like, you know, made those people. They're the people who made themselves. I was just there to give them a little bit of advice about something, and now they're big superstars because you never know who will be the superstar. You know, you never know.
No.
And there's a really cool thing he says, talks about Peter Laird. Yeah, and I didn't even know who that was, right? But I know his work. And so Laird, I think it's Peter Laird, and he said something. He said about like,
He
I might not like your
co-created
work,
Ninja
but
Turtles.
there's somebody out there who like your work, and it's like, and I look it up, I search who this friggin' Peter Laird is, and I spelled it wrong the first time, did it again. It's Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whose friggin' toys I have here, and I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
that guy, you know. And but way back then, you know, in their little, you know, what is like basement drawing, those guys, they had no, you know, no idea what it was going to be.
No.
And
They were having
yeah,
fun. The story I heard was they got drunk, drew it on a pizza box.
Yeah.
The next morning when they woke up, it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if that's a true story.
Yeah.
Whether it is or not, they were having fun drawing that stuff.
Yeah.
And it took off from there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think that's why I would say, like, we had the thing the other day, I was just saying, like, you never know, you know, if you always like compete against other people, you never get anywhere. It's like, just like do your thing, you know, and
you'll be like a gerbil on the.
Yeah.
You'll always have somebody new to try to compete against.
Yeah. And I don't think I'll ever be better than anybody else, but I'm going to try to be better than myself.
Yeah, myself an hour ago, yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see that you're climbing a ladder instead of running around the gerbil wheel.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to other people who are really professional to get something out there. Ideas like, oh, that's what that meant. Okay, now I'm going to write something, and then like hopefully it's good now, and then we publish it. It'll still be good in a couple of months, and then because, you know, as a writer, it's easier than being an artist, right? I understand that 100%.
I don't know that
I've also been an artist and being a writer, but it's a lot of brain drain. Like the hands don't get used, it's the brain drain, and like I get tired because I have a huge amount of concussion. But the thing is that you can come up with shit, but it's still shit until an artist makes it something out of it, right? And so it's because unless it's you know, unless it's off the paper and into a kind of like you know, almost like a 3D thing, because it's now an art. And so then it becomes real, you know, and then it's like, oh shit, I didn't think that'd become that way. And so if you're competing against yourself or like other people, you never go, you know what, I'm going to stop because I suck. And it never happens. But if you go, well, let's see what everybody else is doing. And I think a lot of time people just concentrate on the like the biggest IPs, right? Oh, it's Superman. So they don't think about like now with Invincible, right? Back then there was nothing. And the story was with Invincible was that Robert Kirkman basically worked 2 jobs to pay his artist because he believed in the product so much.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's, you know, and Valentino tells a story that like when he first came to him, it's like Bullet Boy was going to be the name of him character. And he goes, that's not the, it doesn't sound right. He goes, give me something else. He goes, Invincible. He goes, yeah, that's cool. Let's go with that. You know, just one little, you know,
yeah, one change.
And it's like, and it's a household name to anybody who's in comics because of that. You know, especially with the Netflix now. Anybody's got it is Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it HBO?
It's on.
Is it HBO?
I know it's on Hulu.
Right. So it's actually on Disney, sort of like that platform. So anybody, I actually know Hulu's on just about everything in New Zealand. So it must be every other channel sort of set up. So yeah, household names almost all around the world. You know, but I mean, if he didn't change the name, we would never know. Who'd want to read Bullet Boy, right? Or Bullet Man, But
Right.
Invincible,
Well,
yeah.
it has a whole, and that's another thing. Naming your property is so important, and the graphic design work that you put into it, and the way you market it, because Bullet Boy has a whole different preconceived thought
Yeah.
than Invincible.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead versus,
There was it's like,
you know,
yeah, it's crazy. Like when you listen to all these stories, and that's like for me, like whenever I come up with an idea, it's a sentence in my head, right? Like Zolandia, right? Started with, "I don't feel like dying today." That's it. That one line, and now that is about a teenage girl who gets sent into a parallel world, and now it's about her and it's about this fantasy creature, all one word. And I was like,
well, in that tagline,
yeah,
I don't feel like dying today.
Yeah.
You know, none of us do. So what's she going to do? You know, what is that character, or what is this about that?
Yeah.
How are they going to not die today? And why are they even in that problem? So even that tagline makes you think, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, what's trying to kill her? Why is she trying to survive? Does she have a disease? Is she fighting something? You know, so they have to figure out, okay, why are they not wanting to die today? Yeah.
So the weird thing was, like, so I wrote them, like, the character I wrote it for isn't the main character. So the line actually I wrote for was another character, but the story all focused on the main character being a different character. So
Right.
now it's like, because she was gonna die, and so she's being hunted, and it just switches the whole thing around. And like, I didn't even think about that being switched around until I started working on it after that one single line, because that's how all my stories start. It's either I dream about it or that one single thought I have, or like, single sentence in my head, and everything comes apart from that. And that's why I say it's kind of easy being a writer compared to being an artist, because it's just so much more focused. But I mean, I'll go days without writing, and I'll just write a sentence or two, and then I'll come in and write a whole chunk, because now I feel it's got to work out.
I think doing that is your brain getting you ready to do that whole chunk of stuff.
Yeah.
It's I do the same thing with artwork. I may not draw for a day or two, but then when I do, it's like, okay, this, and and the fantasy artist Frazetta, he talked about that. He said he might not do anything. He may go out and work in the yard or lift weights or do but it may be a day or two. But then when he goes in, he'll do a painting in 12 hours or 18 hours. But it's him making the composition and the color, and he's envisioning that painting, that work of art or that thing in his brain before he hits it.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because I always think like you should be working now, and I'm like only recently, like a week or two, I've realized that I need that downtime, because
I think it's your brain just preparing you for it.
Yeah.
You're working, you're just not tapping it in.
Like I'm doing dishes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that could work there.
Yeah.
Pulling some weeds out, I'm like, oh, that sentence would work there. It's like, and I think that's why I say, like, when people go like, oh, it's taking this long, I'm like thinking, no, it's not. It's taking that long because it's going to be better, because it's it's work needs to be done and stuff. Like I remember with Templeton, like we started Templeton a while back, and I had a couple pages come in a while back, and then suddenly James was free over Christmas. He went, I got these pages, let's go. I'll be sending this page to you. I'm sending. It's like, what's going on? It's like, I've got a holiday. So it's like, okay. So I get the whole bunch of like 6-7 pages at one go. Yeah. I'm like, sweet. Because and I was like, finally we got it done, but the work is great, because it's just, and the thing is that I know I don't have to worry about people waiting for that book when it comes out, because even if it's going to be a year, because of I know the way it works, I have all these other books that will be coming out to keep them interested, you know, and that's going to free him not to be stressed about, you know, working, because he's got a life as well, you know, and kids and stuff, and they had some terrible times last year. And so, you know, having other books come out is going to save that, you know, the backer thing that you're talking about, you know, keeping people coming back again. Yeah. But I think the other thing is like having, you know, people realizing that you're putting your 100% into it. You're not just phoning it in, you know. And I think when you look at the page, like Professor, you know, what's his, can't remember his name. Let me just pop back out. It was we just call him Professor, but it's like, where is he? Splash page, right? So he was just saying the amount of work you putting into detail. Yeah, this one here, right? So he's saying, I bet those scales took a while on, you know, on the snake. And yeah. And it's just because, you know, and people, if they see a complete work, they're not going to worry about how long it came. They're just going to enjoy finally getting the work that they believed you were going to put out, you know, and now you're happy that they're happy. Yeah. But if you rush something and it leaves a sour taste in your mouth of the reader, you know, you're like, is that what I paid?
Well, they feel like they didn't get what they paid for, I think. I mean, and then I would feel like I didn't give them what they paid for. And I always try to go above and beyond what I feel like, okay, they paid for this, but I'm going to give them this much. And I always try to do that anyway. And I do that on my commissions, and I do that on my artwork. I do that when I'm working with these guys in the other studios. I'll do that with you when I'm working on your stuff. I always want to give you more than what you're paying for. You know, in every case, I want to do that. It's just, you know, I it's always that's come from, even as a kid, I would try to do more than what I was asked to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's important to, especially in this day and age, to like, is it to just show progress. I think it's like, you know, as long as you're showing progress and you know, and you're, you know, making sure everybody's there, they don't mind, like, as long, because the art is going to be good, you know, they know it's going to be good, they can see the progress on their work. And I mean, I put out like images like 3 years ago that was, you know, books that were supposed to be finished, but they weren't because, you know, for whatever reason. But now we're turning up that work now, you know, and so people can say, you know, we kept at it, you know, but it's different because we haven't gone to get people to pay for it, and so that's been fine. But still, people like, well, you said you're going to do it. Have you done it yet? You know, but I think when it finally arrives, it's like when, you know, like your book, because we know how much work you put into that, and they just look amazing.
Well, you know, I think I'm doing the best work that I've done in my life right now.
Exactly.
You know? And I think a lot of things clicked, you know, because I did when I was sick with COVID for about 1.5 years, I didn't draw at all. I did maybe 1 or 2 pieces in 1.5 years. The week before I got COVID, I did 14 pieces.
Right.
So, and I know it affected me a little bit with my work recall, and
because you would worn out your body if you didn't work so hard on it. I got COVID after like doing like was it convention for 3 days, just, you know, the stress of like running something for 3 days, and then came home, just, you know, that was it. And so because doing so many pages at that short period of time, that would have stressed you out a lot. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So, I mean, but I was just working that quickly. Yeah. But I think since then I know I'm going slower, but I think I'm producing the best work that I've ever produced.
Yeah.
You know, and like if you look at the sequential pages for the Juju Ashcan, that's some of the best artwork that I've I've put out, and even some of the colors that I've been putting out have been some of the best colors that I've been putting out. And then graphic design work has improved. So I think there may be a pro to being just slowing down and being able to put that work out, which I'm actually coloring that piece that you just showed.
This one here?
It's a Ringo with the Book of Souls. That's actually a surprise cover that was in the
Right.
Kickstarter. But yeah, that's a Ringo with the Book of Souls.
Yeah, I mean, like every line takes time, and I think a lot of people, they're so used to like, this, this quickness of and the shallow, blasé work that you see out of Marvel and DC now.
No.
They're not used to this, the amount of work that goes into an amazing page like this, because it's your work. It's not like you're not working for somebody else. It's
Right.
yours, so you want to make it best it can be.
Right. And I finally feel like I'm getting to the level that I need to be producing the work that I want to put out. I don't, as an artist, I don't ever really like my work as much as I should probably.
Yeah.
But I like it more than I used to.
Mm.
So I'm actually starting, I think, to get to a level that is a little bit more satisfying to me.
Yeah.
So, and that Kane Chronicle one's changed. That was the original layout, and all of this was done digital, and I ended up printing it out because I didn't like some of the textures.
Yeah.
And so I printed it out and re-inked it by hand.
Yeah.
And the textures and everything are a lot better. The line weights. So, but yeah, that was originally just digital artwork right there.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So that's 3 pieces of paper, right? Because
Yes.
you've got your 3 covers there.
Yep. And there's actually a 4th one that's not on that, but
yeah, I was thinking because it's a bit wide to be just 3, because I was trying to measure it with my mouse here. So because I was thinking okay, so that's 1 here, right? That's
right
2,
right,
and then that's your 3,
right.
and is that
And
the
then
same
the
one?
4th one's not on there because I didn't do it digitally. The 4th one I did straight pencils and then inks, but these I actually did digital and then printed them out and then married all of those up together.
Yeah, and by digital you don't mean the computer did it for you. You mean you
No,
actually
I meant
inked it
I went in
and drew it.
and drew it in Photoshop. Yeah.
That's why you can see the grays here and the light tones and stuff, and then you've gone over it again.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you'll see in that the grays are in another layer.
Yeah.
I did the pre-drawing in a layer, and then I went over it and drew in Photoshop with a pencil that I specified for doing that. I corrected the whatever they're called perimeters of it to where it got kind of the effect I wanted, but it still wasn't 100% the effect I wanted. So I took it into, I printed those out as a blue line and then inked over them, which the blue line is actually what you see behind with the title.
Yeah.
But I printed the whole thing in the blue line and then inked that on the final pages.
Mm.
And I don't always do the digital Photoshop digital files. I'll usually do pencils, scan those in, print them out this blue line, and then do ink work. And then my colors are going to be in Photoshop. That's actually the back cover for the Mojo #2.
Right.
And that's the character from the backstory. That's the Bull God. And he's busting through the Third Empire logo.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's the Third Empire logo. The first book actually had the Rat God, and he's chewing on the Third Empire logo.
It's awesome. I think that's the one we saw just before. So I'll pop down to the other page. Oh, actually, see, sneaky stuff. There we go. Now,
Okay, the artwork is done by Sophizo Graphics, and then I did the inks and colors on that.
right.
And that's the Mojo character, and that's actually going to be a print. It was going to be a pull-out centerfold, but
Yeah.
we did so many pages. We did a 60-page book. That's going to be a square-bound, like a premiere edition, like Marvel used to do. But it's going to be a square-bound book. So we actually pulled that out and made it into a print.
Nice. It's so detailed. The colors are just popping off it.
I had fun with that.
Amazing.
And that the artist that did that he's crazy. he's a character. He does like martial arts stuff, and he's super intelligent. You know, the kind of intelligent that kind of scares you.
Yeah. I got one of those, mates.
Yeah, he's like that. And then he comes and goes. He's disappeared now. So, and I expect him to show back up in, you know, a month or two or so and say what's up. But yeah, he comes and goes.
I was thinking a little bat on the back here. Just a detail. It's like critical.
Yeah, the bat and
is that eagle's head or is it like a?
It's like a raven, bird skull.
Hmm.
And then there's a bat on the back fin.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Is it the only one over here, or is it some other?
I think for the other stuff is going to be on my personal page. Because I had.
Can we look at that, or is that you don't want us to go there?
What's that?
Can I go there? Or
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Look at this.
And see, that's the reveal for the colors. I'm starting to reveal those. Kane Chronicles colors first, and then I'll do the graphic design work and I'll put the logo on Kane and reveal the colors for Cyborg and Kayla.
Yeah.
It'll take about five weeks or 10 weeks or so. I don't know. Depends on how quickly.
I mean, whoever's has invested in this, right? Back this, they're gonna be so freaking amazed to get the art, right?
I hope so. Well, I know the guys did excellent work on the interior stuff. All three of those anthology books. So I wanted to, do my part and match the amount of energy and goodness that they put into it. So, and then that has the fourth panel with Juju on it.
Yeah. Man, it's just crazy. Because that's the one we didn't see before because it only had the pencils.
Right. And then I changed the setup of it completely.
Yeah. Man. It's amazing work.
If you go to
photos or posts?
Yeah, go to yeah, there's going to be a few there. That kind of reminds me almost of a tattoo design.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, did you aim it to be a tattoo? Because I'm sure somebody's going to get one.
No, I didn't. I didn't really, but I did think about that. But it's actually was made to be a cover with Mojo and Death, and then he has a broken halo and some devils, devil points. If you look at the top there,
yeah.
And then of course all the top hats have I think the sparrows they have skulls on them, and then I think one has I think a different skull. I can't remember what I put on it.
Yeah, you got a bird skull and it's something.
Like a rodent, like a I can't remember. What
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
feel
that's the one that looks like a rodent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got the bird skull. It's actually that looks like a possum's head, possum skull.
I don't. I didn't intend it to be. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be.
And then you got the bird there.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, you could like make. Are you guys doing stickers out of things?
I thought about it, but we've already bought all the stickers for this campaign.
Yeah.
But it might end up in the next campaign as a sticker.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Because it would make a cool sticker.
It would make a really awesome sticker. And then somebody will see that sticker and they go, "Oh, dude, can you tattoo this on my back?" Because it looks really amazing, like as a tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got
David McConaughey,
Mojo.
the artist, and then I did inks and colors.
Sorry, what's the name again?
David McConaughey.
Right. It's like a vampire skull, head skull because of the long teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of did a different take on it, so we kind of went with it because we liked it. That is Lee Reese he did pencils and grayscale, so I did a different method of coloring on it than I did with the other stuff. That's why you kind of get a different effect on it. But he did a grayscale.
Yeah, it's just got a different feel to it, but there's nothing, it's like it looks amazing no matter what style it is because it's just such a great piece of work. And your coloring suits it. Especially when you look at stuff like, for me, I'm looking at details, like color and tone, and I'm looking here, I'm looking at the shadow, it's the shading of that, like how that bone feels like, it almost feels like it's bone, right? So it looks the way it comes up. And then you look at this side and you can tell the difference between the two, like that they're two different things. They're not both they're not both skin,
Right.
And it's just the way it flows, it looks different. That's metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's metal. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's like
it's
got like a side arm.
But Mojo lost his arm in an incident that we'll get into, and ended up with a magical metal arm.
And this is that one we talked about with the bull
god busting through the Third Empire logo.
Yeah. And this is the other one from the 4-piece cover?
Yeah, the ink part of it.
Yeah, that's the uncolored version here.
Yeah.
So then you've got that.
And that's the Cyborg and Kayla, and then that's the Juju part of it.
I didn't notice the gator before. Now I get to see the gator.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. It's like, you got like the it's like
dolls
knives or chopsticks.
They have bones that are broken. Yeah.
It's so detailed, man. It's so good.
And there's the print, the pinup with all four of the properties on it, the intellectual properties on it. There.
Was this like
it's Iron Man.
Yeah, but was it like a commission?
It was a print that the person was buying, and they wanted me to sign it, and they wanted to get my picture for some reason.
But I mean, I was just thinking, like, it's a print. It's not like of the like a series or just reprints of.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, like, I was just showing this before that I got prints as well, and then I had Dave. What's his name? Dave Johnson. Oh, I can show that as well. So this is old Dean Rankin from Aussie.
Cool. Yeah.
And then you've got Dave Johnson. So I just pulled these out today to show, and they're like,
Oh, that's cool.
So you got this one, and because they were over here in 2013, that's when I got it. They got the Punisher.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I like the Punisher.
Yeah.
Now, this is your team, right?
The far right is Raj Mahan, and then center is Manuel Soto, and then of course me on the far left. But
Looking at all the work and
Raj is creator of the Mojo, and then Manuel is the artist on the series. And we were at the Salina Comic Con, or not Salina, Wichita Falls Comic Con.
Right. Good work. And this is the one without the colors on. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the ink work.
Yeah. It's wicked. There's another one.
Rick Tyndall did the artwork on that, and then I went in and did the color work. But that's Mojo with the Gators and the Stafford Decay. Santibanez it's a Daniel. I can't think of the guy's name. It's an homage cover.
Mm-hmm.
But Florentino Santibanez did the artwork, and then I did the inks and just
Tony Daniel.
Colors. What's that?
After Tony Daniel. So is this like a Batman cover?
It's a Deathstroke homage to Deathstroke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. I keep thinking like vampire teeth because of like long teeth. They could almost be zombies.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It's really, those aren't, other than being maybe a silent crossover with the Kane Chronicles, they could be the Zompires. They don't really show up in Mojo, but he added them in there just for effect. The snake does, because that's Hera, and she's evil. Yeah. And then the Staff of Decay. That is a
painted cover.
It's an homage cover to I went blank. Death Dealer.
Right. Yeah. From what's Death Dealer from? Verotech?
Frazetta.
No, Death Dealer is from Rossetto, wasn't it? Frazetta?
Yeah, Frazetta. But that's an homage cover to his Death Dealer.
Yeah.
And I did that. That's in watercolors.
Watercolors, right? Definitely painted. Yeah. So, man, I like. I mean, everything stands out, but I like the background as well, just the way he's spotted it up.
Well, and I tried to match what he did in his painting.
Right. So, you did this. Sorry.
So I was trying to match up with both his colors and then his attitude with the Death Dealer type thing.
Yeah.
So
let me just do something because I want to see. There we go. So it's just so people can see what is meant by in reference to that. I hit the. They only gave me a little one. Hold on. I'll bring a really big, large size lodge. Now, he's on the horse, right? That's the one you're thinking about?
The horse Death Dealer.
Right. Yeah. Okay, now I think this is the perfect one here. Didn't you just say it was going to be? I'm talking to myself. Sorry, I'm talking to the computer actually. Like, didn't you say it was going to be big and now it's like tiny when I pop it up? It's like what?
Yeah, you can't really find a very good reference that's a good size one. I had that problem when I was trying to find a good one that I could use as reference.
Here we go. And then like when you export it's not that like a tiny one. Yeah. So is this somebody else's work or is that
Frazetta as somebody else's homage? Yeah.
So that's I was like, that doesn't look like that one.
No, that's a different one than. It may be his, but I homaged a different one than that one of his.
Master Study 73. Oh, this could be it. Let's have a look. Oh, it's another. Oh, yeah, it's another study. It's like actually need to go Frazetta. It's like otherwise, they're just going to keep giving you people's tribute work.
It's such a
All right, I think I'm going to have to settle with a little one, but we'll be able to see it. So here we go.
I think it's interesting that so many people study his work, though. That he's such a master that people study that.
Oh, I see. It still won't give me bigger size, so that's the biggest it'll get me.
But I was trying to match his because he has some blues and purples, and then the ochres.
This doesn't really do it justice, does it?
It really doesn't. But you can kind of see some of those colors, and then the feel of his original. Mine is a very cheap knockoff of his, by the way.
Yeah. So
he's the master.
Here we go. This is actually from the comic, I think. They did a hardcover, so this might work. I'm not. Is this it? Isn't it?
Yeah, the colors are a little bit off on that one, but that one's.
It's like one of the most legendary paintings.
Yeah.
Amongst every, as well as every other Conan he's ever done.
Yeah.
It's always been the best.
I had my books in here. I could show you because I did end up getting a book that had one of those on it. So
yeah,
they're out in the shipping.
Wait. Saying that, I think I've got I'm not gonna move everything around out of the way from around me. Like I have the cards. Yeah, the Death Dealer cards.
They were in the 90s cards or whatever that they put out.
Now, question is, where in all this junk is it safely put away?
Of course, his were done in oil paintings, and then mine is done in watercolor. So there's a little bit of different effects that he could get that I couldn't quite get.
Yeah, it's a problem with having so much stuff. I don't know where what is. But there's a whole shelf of just trading cards. Yeah, one box just fell. Yeah, but I have they released these foils, plastic covered foils a couple of years ago, and they're all all the art you had just big, but they're all these beautiful. Might pop it out later and share it with you on Facebook when I see it. But there's 100 or something of them, 150, and I think they came in they might have come in a case, and yeah, but they're there. It's just going to take me ages to find them because it gets moved around.
I understand.
Well, with that in mind, let's close up here. I think it's about 6 o'clock for me, so dinner time, which is basically my breakfast and lunch. Oh no, I actually had breakfast today. Sausages and chicken left over from barbecue yesterday. Right, so thank you, and you're most welcome to come on anytime, Greg. Whenever I'm on, just come and jump on because it's more fun having someone to talk to rather than just me talking to to chat.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody else. Thank you for joining us, and wherever you are, be well, be safe, and we'll catch you in the next one. I'm not sure when the next one is because it's just at the moment whenever I feel like it. But I know on Friday night we're back with Kiwis and comic books, so that's a live stream show with guests. So this week we have a comic shop owner who's been in the business for over 20 years because I've known him for a while. So he'll be on there talking about the business and comics and people he's helped get their work out and worked with in New Zealand. So yeah, 7:30 New Zealand time, which is around about 11 or 10 European time. or American. But yeah, hang out and let us know what you think. And as always, you guys can ask questions in the chat and let us know if I got something wrong. Always helpful. And I enjoy people, what's it called? Like, I need help. Like, sometimes I forget shit. So if you can, answer the questions I have, I'll really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And Russ, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, exactly. Great artwork. We got, you're gonna get some stuff from him coming out. So, however, we're gonna be releasing a lot of our comics apart from Incredi-Girl in the US and Canada only for the time being, because the printing's a bit costly to. I'm not printing. It's costly to for the freight right now, and I think it's better that I can release all floppies for that. We'll do what we'll do at the end of it, like all 4 issues when they're out. I'll release floppies again, and then we'll ship them out better at the same time, and that way it'll be better for people overseas, outside of America and Canada, for you financially. Because I'm thinking, making sure if I'm going to get those to you, I will get those to you, in that time. And that way you can still read the digital covers versions, and and then you can save up as well for any bigger prices at the time to fill 6 issues into, because those Geminis take about 6 comics. So it's a good way to actually manage your money and actually get what you want, when you're ready to get it, rather than paying 6 times freight costs. It's like almost like as much as the comics themselves. So that's what I'm planning for everybody else outside of America and Canada with our Kickstarter. So thank you once again, Greg. Thank you for hanging out and working with us, and I appreciate it. Everybody else, ka kite ano, wherever you are, like I said, be well, be safe. And the other thing I forget, if you if your loved ones are close by, say, give them a hug or a kiss, and if they're not, give them a call, because sometimes they could do with a call. All right, see ya. Or text messages and stuff.
And I've been waiting for the noise to die down, so I could have some time to think back to when I wanted to be where I am now, free of problems I had then, but taken up by more now. Let me grow as I am. You can rush through your life at your own and mine. Oh, I grow as I am. Live your life until now, but you're open and mine. What are we rushing for anyway?